Crystal Lake Prequel series? Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines, and this is the Horror Weekly Roundup, where we talk about all the big horror movie headlines that dropped during the week, and we start off by talking about Crystal Lake Prequel series. Yeah, Prequel series. Well, this was announced earlier in the week. Let's just get right into it, guys. Hollywood Reporter had this article. Actually, all the big trades had this. So, yeah, this is the big story of the week for sure. Friday the 13th prequel series, Crystal Lake in the works at Peacock, from Brian Fuller. A24 has bought the rights, secured the rights, after a years-long copy. Well, years, yeah, for more than, it's probably more than like a decade, it feels like. For God's sakes. Happy campers, more like dying campers. So, who's going to be show running this? Somebody named Brian Fuller, who was behind series like American Gods and Star Trek Discovery, as well as, I believe, Hannibal, right? Yeah? No. Yes. Anyway, I think it's in good hands. So, because, yeah. It's about time. We need a prequel to, or we don't need a prequel, but we need more Friday the 13th. And if this brings Jason back in any capacity, then I'm on board for that. And from what I understand, yes, he is going to be back, for sure. Because, well, the creators have shared what can and cannot be used. Now, this was a little bit reported a bit weird during the week. Some people thought that, you know, they couldn't use the Jason visage, but yes, they can, guys. They can use everything from the mythos. And Brian Fuller came out and said that, this in a quote, we can use everything. We can go to hell, we can go to space. That's not to say that we will do those things, although if we do go 10 seasons, I will be lobbying hard to go to space. Okay, so then he just elaborates a little bit more on the well, there's the business side of stuff and a little bit of the background there. But, you know, how Jason X goes to hell and could impact the series. Well, here's what I understand. Well, like, most of us were reporting that it was going to be mostly about Pamela Voorhees. And by all means, I think it will be about Pamela Voorhees, at least the first season. Now, I don't know what it would be after that, but I think that they could possibly use some kind of flashbacks, start with, we would see sequences definitely with the older Jason, but he'll remember maybe little bits of Pamela. But if you go on and read this a little bit more, you get the impression from Brian Fuller himself that, yeah, he wants to make it a little bit more like the Bates Motel is what they were kind of using as a model. So it would be this guy who kind of like does have a relationship with the mother there, and then maybe we'll figure out what happened with the father, that kind of thing. Now, I don't know how old Jason would be in that capacity, like maybe 4 or 5, like very, very young. So I do think that they open the door there for possible flashbacks or, you know, flash forwards perhaps, you know, showing Jason by all means, because he got to. I would think that, okay, you got the Crystal Lake prequel series, and people will be wanting to see Jason. And I know that the first movie was all about Pamela, but it's just so iconic now. You can't just have it all about Pamela and have it fly. People will be just like, hey, what's going on here? Right? It would be kind of like making a Scream movie without Ghostface, or you know, a Halloween movie without Michael Myers. I'm still ragging on that. Yes, I am, guys. Okay, there you go. I don't think so, but I don't think they'll go that route. I think we will see Jason, and I think we will mostly see Pamela in the first season, but the door's open for them to do anything with it. A24 has secured the rights for everything. The original writer of the script doesn't have his hands on it anymore, that are like his grips into it, saying that he can't use that and this and that. Nope, they got the free use to do everything, but the question remains, you know. do we really have questions about Jason's past? Is there something there that we don't understand? His mother loved him. He drowned in the lake, and then he somehow came back to life. Like, I don't really need to know why or how he came back. Right? He just came back, and he's a killer. So there you go. Friday the 13th. And some people say that it's right to be supposed to be all about Pamela. It's a great way to reintroduce the franchise. Crystal Lake, 1935. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. Crystal Lake prequel series. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I guess it will bring Jason back. I think it will. Why not? Yeah. Okay. What's next? Scream 6 is in the headlines. Scream 6 changes its release date. Scream 6 date changes a bit earlier in March 2023. So this comes out in March next year, guys. And it's all wrapped. It's all in the can. So it's not a big change either. It was going to be coming out March 31st, but now it's going to be March 10th. Hey, that's going to be right in the reading week era for a lot of the college kids. Could that possibly have anything to do with it? Maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But Scream 6, guys, goes to New York. Basically, Ghostface takes Manhattan. I'm looking forward to it because I did like the 5th movie, and it's going to be moving on from some of the legacy cast. I think the only legacy cast coming back is Gale Weathers, but Melissa Barrera was good in it. Jenna Ortega is going to be back. That's really cool. And Dermot Mulroney is going to be playing a cop of some kind. Fascinating. Yeah. So a couple of weeks earlier, March 10th, 2023, I would suspect, if not by the end of the month, definitely by the Christmas time, we're going to get the first trailer, because it's only 3 months away from after December. So really 4 months now. 4 months for Scream 6. Unbelievable. We should be getting a teaser, actually. For sure. That's what I would think. And to see where it goes, because you hear that Ghostface is going to be a lot more brutal and vicious in this one. The brutality, from what I understand, is going to be pretty grand. Scream 6, release date change. Okay. Evil Dead Rise comes out next year, too. Cool. We got our first image this week, too, of Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise. First look image is equally creepy and bloody. Now, this is part of the Evil Dead franchise, but it's not going to be taking place in the woods, guys. It's going to be taking place in a condo, taking it to the city. Fascinating. James, stop with saying fascinating. Maybe it's because I just watched Enola Holmes 2, and I found that fascinating. No, anyway. Evil Dead Rise, is Evil Dead Rise a reboot or a sequel? Yeah, they haven't really said too much of which one it's going to be connected to. Is it going to be connected to the Bruce Campbell one? Bruce Campbell is producing this one with Sam Raimi, so I'm expecting it to be more or less loosely tied to maybe the 2013 version, which I liked. Evil Dead Rise, similar to 2013, Evil Dead Rise continued the gory fight against evil with a brand new cast, Beth and Ellie. Okay, so maybe it's its own kind of side thing. Maybe we should just go over to the IMDb and see what they got up there for us. Evil Dead Rise, April 21st release date, expected April 21st, and it's going to be in theaters. Now, it was originally conceived straight for home viewing, but yeah, now it's going to be in theaters, rated R, 2 hours. A twisted tale of two estranged sisters whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. Family. So one of them gets possessed, maybe? That's a very interesting poster. That poster, I kind of dig that. What's that, a hand coming out of there? Mouth open and you can see like the cityscape in the skull? Yeah, I dig that poster. That's cool. And then the cast, I don't think there's any big names that jump out. Lily Sullivan, Alyssa Sutherland. Yeah. No big names there that really jump out at me. But it looks like it's going to be a throwback to that kind of gore fest kind of thing, which is cool because that was always synonymous with Evil Dead. Lee Cronin is directing this. Lee Cronin. He has also done, I should know, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh yeah, The Hole in the Ground. So he did Hole in the Ground, which was really kind of cool. It was a lot more of a psychological kind of thing. Like it had horror elements to it, but it was a lot more of that psychological angle to it. So maybe he'll be able to weave a little bit of that into this new Evil Dead movie. And he's obviously a fan of the franchise. So that's cool. Evil Dead Rise, first image, guys. What do you think about that? Like she looked like a dead-eyed, right? Let's just pull that up again. Yeah. It's going to be bloody. Cool. On board for that. Isabelle Fuhrman is in the headlines too. Okay. Unit 234. What? First look at Isabelle Fuhrman in thriller set at a storage facility. Oh, there's Isabelle Fuhrman. A storage facility. What that? Didn't we just see Cabinet of the Curiosities had an episode like that? I like that episode though. But what's this all about? Fresh off Orphan First Kill, Isabelle Fuhrman, who is a really good actress, I think, by the way, will be starring in Unit 234, and Variety has shared first look image. Okay, cool. There she is. What's this about? In the film, Laurie Saltaire discovers the comatose man Clayton in Unit 234 of her family's storage facility. Okay, so she's just like the caretaker there, finds a body while working the night shift alone. Okay, well, that's okay. What transpires is a thrill ride of a cat and mouse game of Laurie and Clayton to survive the night. Comatose man, so it sounds like he comes alive or he wakes up and there's some things going on there. Okay, you're producing Colleen Camp. Hey, I know her as executive producer. You'll recognize her from, the Clue movie. She was in Clue, and she was also in Die Hard 3. Small roles there. But, okay. She's producing it. Cool. Terrifier 2 is officially going to be put forward for Academy Awards consideration. Is that seriously the headline, James? Wow. Yeah, it is. Terrifier 2 officially put forward. Okay, now, guys, I don't know if they're just trolling with that, but Terrifier 2 opened up in more theaters last week, and it's kind of had a nice run at the box office, 7.7 million, and it's going to probably cap out around 8.5 or so. Because people are talking about it. It's supposed to be a bloody mess. It's kind of, it's not going to win anything, guys. It's not even going to get a nomination. But I thought it was kind of humorous that they put this out there. A film was put together by crowdfunding. Yeah, crowdfunding. So people had, I've seen the first Terrifier. So I know that was like the third movie with Art the Clown, and Terrifier 2 is like the fourth one because there's like a lower budget short. And I think the other one was kind of like about an hour. Well, actually, about the first length of the first Terrifier, right? But they were Art the Clown was played by a different actor then, I think. People like it, man. It's supposed to be gory. It's supposed to be over the top. And the director says he's got ideas for more. But I don't know. Let's see what he said here. No, it will actually never happen. Yes, it's a total goof. But you know what? The thought of having members of the Academy endure extreme unrated horror movie that would otherwise they would consider beneath them. Yeah, well, there are the higher up elites that are just so they look down their nose at this kind of genre stuff, and it's to their detriment. It's to their loss, right? Because sometimes content like this is just I like it. I like horror, and that's what I like. Seeing it get a reception like this for sure. That's just too hilarious of an opportunity to pass up. Why Terrifier 2 is so popular? Well, it's just the shock value. And it's like, the visage of Art the Clown definitely is iconic. Like, you know that when you see it, right? When you see him in the movie too, like the way that he emotes moves his mouth opens up wide, kind of like the mouth of Sauron there in Return of the King. Yeah, but will it be the last time that we see Art the Clown? From what I understand, no, because there were talks about, the director said that he's got ideas for sequels. I haven't seen the second one yet. It is playing in a theater a little bit away from me, but and I don't know if it's still playing this week or not. So I don't know if I'll be able to go out and see it on Tuesday. Maybe I'll have a chance. It's 2 hours. I don't know. Terrifier 2 will become a surprise Halloween horror hit. It already has. So I'm sure with the 7.7 plus at the bank, guys, I think that will open the door for definitely. Well, because if it was crowdsourced and it didn't make that, they made that money up themselves to finish it, I think they could definitely make a Terrifier 3. Let's just take a look at the box office. Domestically, 8.6. Okay, so it's definitely, yeah. So I grossly underestimated 8.6. I think it could possibly make 10, guys. 10 million is on the table for a budget like this. So yeah, they're going to make more for sure. Now, for me, I would just say cut down on that runtime again a little bit, make it a little bit more confined. You know what people like now, deliver it to them. Give them what they want, and you will make your money. You'll make enough to, maybe put your kids through college. Yeah, for sure. Why not? That's cool. Terrifier 2. I like the headlines for that for sure. Yeah, Terrifier 3. I don't know who is this. This is somebody from the second movie, right? Maybe like somebody who wants to be like him or not. I don't know. Crazy, man. Now I'm kind of hyped for it, right? Is Terrifier 3 happening? What we know and what's been said? Yeah. Let's see, from Damien Leone. He said, he's the director. He said, I had a part 3 in mind when writing part 2. So there you go. There are so many questions brought up in part 2 that are not answered, and that was part of the design because I know I'm going into a part 3. So there you go. It's pretty much confirmed. Terrifier 3. So that means I got to get my butt out to the theater and check this out. Although it's now streaming on Screenbox, so I may be able to find a copy somehow. I don't know. We'll see. Terrifier 3 release date prediction, if it happens. Yeah. How Terrifier 2 sets up another Art the Clown sequel. And it was definitely bloody. It was gory. He definitely dispatches people in a gruesome manner, which is the draw. Terrifier 3, guys, would you be on board for that? Did you like Terrifier 2? Let me know in the comments below. Our Glass Viking says it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility for Terrifier 2 to scoop an award or two. Academy might be a stretch, but other moves surprised in the past. Yeah, maybe. Maybe for makeup effects, although that would be in contention with other big tentpole kind of stuff. I don't know. But it could be for like smaller stuff, for sure. Hey, you know what? Even if it gets like an MTV award or something like that, to get that recognition, that means that it's really getting into the culture and people are digging Art the Clown. And why not? Why not? Talking about slasher clowns. What's this about? Slasher clown in a cornfield. Smile producers to adapt gory slasher clown in a cornfield. What the heck? So it's from a novel called that, Clown in a Cornfield. Okay. By Adam Caesar. Okay, so the producers from Smile. I really liked Smile this year. It's probably going to end up in my top 3 horror films of the year. Smile is an original horror film. Yeah, we know about that, guys. Get to the nitty gritty here. Clown in the Cornfield, which was written by Adam Caesar. Okay. The novel follows its teen protagonist, Quinn Maybrook, to a small town. Teens are beset by murders dressed as the clown's de facto mascot, Friendo the Clown. During a party celebration. Friendo? Little, is that supposed to be a reference to No Country to Old Men? Okay, so a clown goes crazy and kills people. Who could star in Clown in a Cornfield? Well, guys, I don't. Yeah, that. I wouldn't expect huge stars, just competent people. It's from the producers of Smile. They got out and they went out and got Sosie Bacon for Smile, and she did a fantastic job in that. And the rest of the cast for that was cool. So I'm, for them to adapt this and have this next as maybe their next hit, because I do think that Smile was a hit for sure. What was Smile at the box office last week? It was fourth. So it'll get bumped down to, actually, no big movies came out this week other than an anime movie, so maybe it'll get bumped down to fifth. 96, 94 internationally, 190. So yeah, that's real good cheddar right there. Smile, those guys, why not? Hey, you're on a roll now. And we'll look at the box office numbers from this week tomorrow on the Movie News channel. The guys on Movie News, for sure. We'll be taking a look at that on the Movie News Digest. You'll get that. Yeah. Okay. A new Godzilla movie. Cool. Yeah. I want to talk about this. I like Godzilla. He's one of my favorite kaijus. New Godzilla movie coming from Japan's Toho. Okay, so it's going to be from Toho. It's not going to be the North American Godzilla, but that's okay. I got nothing wrong with a man in suit Godzilla every now and then. I think that's okay. I mean, that's its roots. So it's not going to be tied to the Godzilla versus King Kong series that we just saw. It's going to be all from Toho. And apparently they took to their websites, their social medias, to tell us even the release date for it. Wow. Toho. November 3rd, 2023 is when they're going to have this next Godzilla movie. That's fast. That's a fast turnaround. I can't believe that. New Godzilla movie. Fascinating. Will it be animated? No, it sounds like it's going to be an actual Godzilla movie. But little details are known. I'll keep my eye on this. I'll keep my eye on this for sure. Yeah. 28 Days Later sequel. Is this possible? 28 Days Later. 28 Days Later sequel, Closer Than Ever, says Danny Boyle. It feels like a very good time. Now, I really liked 28 Days Later, and I liked 28 Weeks. It was 28 Weeks Later. I liked that one too. That one was really cool. Rose Byrne was in that. Yeah. But anyway, it looks like if they did a sequel, it'd be more with Cillian Murphy. And let's take a look at what Danny Boyle's quote was here. While speaking with NME, he said this: "I'd be very tempted to direct it. It feels like a very good time, actually. Because it was topical with everything going on. It was the rage virus. People might be open to seeing something like this again. It's funny. I hadn't thought about it until you just said it. And I remembered, bang, this script, which is again set in England, very much about England. Anyway, we'll see. Who knows? So he has this fascination. With England. Boyle is not the only one on board. Cillian Murphy stated that he too would be willing to come back. Wow, cool. He also said, "I think there's a problem with that. In that I'm 20 years old. In that I'm 20 years older now. But every time I do bump into Danny and Alex, I always mention it because I showed it to my kids recently for some Halloween, but 4 or 5 years ago, and they loved it. It really stands up, which is amazing for a film 20 years old. So yeah, I love the idea. It's very appealing to me. Yeah, coming back to this, close it off because the word talks like 28 months later they could do what happens to the rest of the world kind of thing. But if it's going to go back straight to England, it would have to do maybe with the fallout after so much time. He says they'd have to address how older he is. Like, what would happen? Either it would be a time jump, or it'd just be set at a certain time period. I don't know. But it sounds like, hey, if the director is on board and the actor is on board, it sounds like from his quote there, from Danny Boyle's quote, Bang, this script. It sounds like there's a script. So it's just maybe the studio. It's the studios out there just need to pull the trigger on that one, and we would have a new 28 Days Later movie. I'd be on board for that. That sounds really cool. And I just realized I misspelled days there in my little graphic. Hey, it happens. Okay. All right, guys. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Did you like that movie? Did you go out and see that movie? It's getting a limited theatrical release. Okay. What's this? Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, slashing into theaters one night only next year. One night, February 15th. So just after Valentine's Day. I'm guessing maybe because it's a Friday. But I thought it was going to be the 13th for some reason. So they can capture that. But the 15th, if you haven't seen it, guys, they're just taking a page out of that Terrifier playbook. Hey, put it in theaters. If it gets word of mouth out there that people want to go out and see this kind of lower budget kind of stuff, why not? That's what I say. And champion like smaller indie horror, by all means. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, in theaters for one night only. Why not? Talking about this, the producers of that are going to move on to make a Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare with Peter Pan. So they're going to take that kind of treatment and make it with Peter the Pan definitely has some horrific imagery to it with Captain Hook. Like they made a really gory Captain Hook. Yeah, I could see something that could be scary. Or the Croc. Well, that's just more like man versus nature kind of thing. And the crocodile that swallows him. Yeah. Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare. Why not? They should do it to all of them. That's because it's right for the picking. Why not? Again, if you find something that works, that clicks with people and resonates, you got to hit the fast forward button on that. Kind of like what I need to do with the YouTube channel, right? Instead of turning out hour-long movie news sessions that only like 8 people watch, but for some reason people like to watch the shorts, I should capitalize on the shorts. And we're going to experiment a lot with this channel going forward to find that right mix. Because I do like doing the live stuff. I know that people do, but I like giving people the opportunity to talk with me. That's why I like the live stuff. But stay tuned for more on Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare as we learn it. Blood and Honey will be February 15th there too. So let's take a look at some of the comments here. Good. Put a horror spin on all of them. Why not? Congrats on these guys for finding out what the public domain is, I guess. Please no. So there is a little bit of voices there for not wanting to see this, but I think it's kind of smart. Yeah. Tackles Tiger Lily. Yeah. See, that's something that came up this week too, because people were upset that some Peter Pan adaptations were not PC. I don't care about that stuff, guys. Just it's a horror. People don't really want all that social commentary injected into their art. I think there was like a poll or some kind of survey recently where other news stories and studios are finding this out. We don't need the injections of social fiber or social moral implications into every script, in every big blockbuster. We don't need to be lectured at. They don't like that. We don't like that. So there you go. Who cares? Our Glass Viking says Peter Pan was definitely a borderline nightmare to begin with. Yeah, already a little bit, because it was kind of like, was it all in his head? Was Neverland really a real thing, or is it just like an elaborate hallucination? Right? For sure. The Brothers Grimm fairy tales are all horrific. Yeah, but they've already done spins on those on the darker side, right? With Hansel and Gretel. Or Hansel and Gretel. Gretel, right? Yeah. Yeah, they've done some of those. All right. Got a few more headlines here, guys. I know it's a bit of a shorter show this week, but something came up last week. We normally do this on Saturdays, but yesterday something came up. I had to go and deal with something in the morning, and I was going to have all this content out yesterday, but hey, it happens. It's the weekend. And I still wanted to talk about these stories for sure. We got a few more here that are not listed in the sidebar, but are going to be in the comments. Forest Hills a trailer for this came out, and I guess people are saying that they're using this because Shelley Duvall's going to be in this, but she's only like a small cameo from what I understand. What's this about? A man is tormented by nightmarish visions after enduring head trauma while camping in the Catskill Woods. But the popularity is going up. So people are like, Shelley Duvall's coming out of retirement, or, for this kind of thing, because she was in The Shining and stuff like that, guys. Dee Wallace was in Cujo, and you'll recognize Dee Wallace. But it also has Edward Furlong, and the main, there's Dee Wallace. Okay. That's actually a pretty good shot. But yeah, Edward Furlong is not, he's looking rough, man. But this is the main character right here, this guy, this old man. I guess he thinks he's becoming a werewolf or something. He kills somebody, the Forest Hills. So you don't know if it's all in his head or his, and by the sounds of the premise, by the sounds of the cast, it looks like it sounds like it should be competently made. But when we go and take a look at the teaser for this, it is, well, glaringly obvious that it's not competently made. And that's being generous. Look at the aspect ratio. It's really a wide angle kind of thing here. And it looks like he's out vlogging in the woods. And then, there's a scene with Dee Wallace. He's out vlogging, and I don't know if he kills somebody or he eats somebody here. But there's like shots of him screaming in the woods. It's not great acting. It's actually, it's not shameful. It's just kind of like, it's, I don't like to use the word amateur, but yeah, I can't tell, right? From the trailers, I can't tell if it's from a script point of view. I don't think it's from an editing point of view. Because sometimes editing can change. Like if you take a scene like 3 times and they use like the worst take, sometimes that happens, right? And you can only, the way you would discern that is that, well, if they look fine in other scenes, why does this one scene look terrible? And that's sort of what happened. A good case of that was in the Obi-Wan series. When they were doing this interrogation scene in one of the episodes, the acting was atrocious. Awful. But then you saw them in other scenes, these 2 actors, and they were fine. So it was kind of like, maybe there was something up there with the editing. But I don't get that from this. I get that it was just kind of a little bit of a lower budget fare. Now, I don't think I got the sound over for this.
I try to do my best. I do. And I know that you do too.
Oh, I didn't turn over the audio there, did I? But yeah, you saw Edward Furlong there. And is this guy, is he turning into a werewolf or isn't he? It's just, it looks kind of, lower budget. And as I said, I got nothing against lower budget stuff. But it also looks like it was maybe some favors for friends who are trying to be actors in this.
I'm trying to be something that I'm not.
Yeah. Let's see if I can catch that clip with Shelley Duvall. Yeah. Furlong's aged terribly.
What's up, man?
Rico.
You're a fucking murderer, Rico.
Yeah, so there you go. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a voice in his head or if it's going to be kind of like a Pamela Voorhees situation where it's kind of like he sees flashes of his mother tormenting him. Maybe, perhaps. But when you watch this trailer, it becomes very clear that it's
For the one who wishes to be covered in fur. rip flesh, shed human skin.
The Forest Hills, yeah. Now, it does look like they did make up a mock-up of a werewolf a little bit here. But it's a man-in suit. Okay. All right. Yeah, this... the werewolf delusion. So they're trying to go for that psychological angle to it, but man, it's rough. It's rough. Okay, so I'm not going to rag on that too much. You say amateur, but maybe there's going for a rustic vlogger goes insane. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. A few other headlines here. I don't want to do that one. We'll do this one. It's not really that much. Because this is something that got canceled, really. Salem's Lot remake, faithfulness to Stephen King book addressed by Star. Yeah, guys, they made this movie. It was supposed to be out by now. It was supposed to come out this year, and then it got pushed to next year, and then it slowly got pulled off the schedule entirely because it was going to go straight to a streaming service, and David Zaslav over there at Warner and said, well, no, we want to make stuff for the big screen. But this remake, Salem's Lot remake, got buried. And so I don't see the point of going in and talking about it being faithful to the book, because if it's not going to see the light of day, I don't know. I was really looking forward to this, actually. I was looking forward to it because I wanted to see updated visual effects on this, or like updated makeup on it and stuff. See, yeah. See what they could have done with this, made it look more updated. Man, it kind of bums me out. What was the other headline that I didn't look at? Oh yeah, Saw. Because we've seen that there's a new Saw movie coming out. And all this article goes into was what made script for Saw 1 better by one problem. What made this article just goes into talk about how the first Saw movie was such a lower budget. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we can tie this into what that Forest Hills, like, it's lower budget, and they were constrained by that, so they had to think creatively. And the things that I always say when you're trying to make stories or stuff like this, I have this axiom, like, okay, we don't have the big budget to do something, right, guys? We don't have like the money to bring in a big, to rent out this big studio and have like these trailer campgrounds for people to have like their actors in and stuff like that. What can we focus in on that doesn't cost money, right? Well, other than people's time, like people who are going to get involved, the number one most important thing is that we can invest in the script and the story, developing that story, and then we can work on the acting, right? The acting and the story and the execution of that story through the acting should champion anything beyond the production value. So if it's shot bad, but if it's acted well and you got a cool story, okay, fine. Those things would be always secondary to me, and that's what Saw 1, I think, capitalized on. So I sort of agree with what they said in this, is that, yeah, you got good actors, competent actors to execute this story, and they didn't need to have like $20 million for like these big, huge, elaborate kills. They didn't. It was very effective on that lower budget level. And it goes on to talk about how some of the sequels got away from that, right? How the budgets got bigger and bigger, and how that may have sabotaged them because it was kind of like, it got away from them a little bit. And it definitely did. Even though I kind of like Jigsaw, the last horror movie, the last Saw movie. So it's going to be interesting to see when this new Saw movie comes out next year, if they're going to go back to that lower budget kind of fare and try to work under those paradigms, for sure. So I kind of agree with that. Just trying to think back to the Forest Hills trailer that we saw there. Story, place, yeah, the handheld vlogger style could work, but you need the acting in there, right? And you're just not getting the acting, at least for me. I mean, that's my impressions from it. All right, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to go over today, guys. It's Sunday. It's football Sunday, right? My football game starts here in 20 minutes, and I'll be watching the Buffalo Bills. So did you like Spiral, James? That was a Chris Rock one, yeah. Didn't see it. Let's go over to Joe Blow here, guys, and let's just take a look at their horror site and see what's on here. See if anything jumps out at me. Like, a lot of people put these top 10 countdowns, so maybe I'll try to get into that field as well. The jump scares, publishing stuff like that. Would you guys like to see that kind of stuff? Takes a little while to produce, to get all the clips together and stuff like that, but that's okay. At least get my opinions. Maybe we can transform those. Because you know what these are? These are just kind of like get to know. Hey, here's my list. So maybe we could transform those into get to know James episodes. I haven't done one of those in a while. Yeah. Get to know James, Mirror Domains. Unit 2234. Talked about that. The Fetus. First look images at horror film feature Lauren Levera, Bill Moseley. Okay, there's Bill Moseley, right? Otis. First look, The Fetus. I may not have found a fan terrier. I don't even know what the heck that is. The Fetus. We'll pull that. The Piper. Elizabeth Hurley takes on supernatural evil in Anthony Waller film. Well, I do like Elizabeth Hurley. Scream 6. New release. Dungeons and Dragons had a release date change too. Next, Exit. Ro Coley. Will we like him from... he's slowly becoming one of Mike Flanagan's go-to people. And he's good. You know, he would actually make a good Reed Richards as well. That'd be kind of cool. Why not? Yeah, some more top 10s and stuff like that. I'm not seeing much here. Past Life, Amelia Hirsch to star in psychological serial killer thriller. Quiet Place. Yeah, we talked about that too. Prequel with Lupita Nyong'o was announced. I don't see too much over here. There's a lot of crossover stuff. But I think we'll end it there today, guys. New Godzilla. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely talked about all this stuff. We didn't miss much. So what was this stuff about here? Fetus. Bill Moseley. Okay. All right. What's this about? The Fetus. The Fetus. The movie's called The Fetus. Yeah. All right. I'm boring you with a lot of blank space. Adam Driver was mentioned as a potential Reed Richards. That would be kind of cool. But I don't know if he would want to go back to a franchise. Because you hear him talking about his Star Wars experience, and he didn't enjoy that. But I do like Elizabeth Hurley, and it's cool that she's still acting. And if you follow her Instagram, wow. She posts a lot of racy stuff. Okay. Supernatural thriller. Fascinating. All right, guys, that's it for today. Join us tomorrow for movie news and other assorted clips. And we will be watching a movie tomorrow, I think. It's going to be a different week for us here on the channel. A little bit of a different format. What else can you find here on the channel? Well, we do full live watch-alongs for Star Wars Andor. So that'll be cool. Yeah, episode 10 this week. Are they going to break out of jail this week? We just did a full live watch-along for Enola Holmes 2. I know that's not a horror kind of movie, but I enjoyed that movie quite a bit. And then, of course, we do the Horror Weekly Roundup, which will return to next Saturday. And then Yeah, during the week we do horror movie news. Oh, during the week we do normal movie news stuff, and we're gonna have to see how it's gonna transform for sure. Okay, that's it, guys. See you next week for more horror movie news, and enjoy the rest of your day. Cool, James. I was late to the party, so I'll check out the opening headlines. Yeah. See you next time on Mirror Domains.